So, Mark, did you see the tweet? Looking for a poor quality yet expensive restaurant to recommend to an enemy? Any suggestions? I think I know a city full of them.
I mean, I could go for maybe not poor quality, but insufferable. How about Poppy Steak?
There's so many options in Vegas. Leave your favorite in the comments below. Our next step in the A's saga is here. The preview center at Uncommons has officially opened. I think you need an appointment to go in and see the proper, I don't know, preview of what it looks like. They have this giant immersive screen, 270 degrees of LED screen. So we've talked a lot about these sort of immersive environments, and they're bringing one to the A's preview center. Let's start there. It looks pretty cool. You can see what the suites look like, what the field views would look like. They got some money. They spent some money on this.
Well, yeah, they got to sell tickets, and you have 2 years, over 2 years probably, before you can get people in there and have them touch and feel it and everything like that. So this gives them a sense of it, and hopefully you bring in some money, because it's got to be rough. A couple years of, just minor league stadium, a couple thousand tickets, nothing major. It still would be tough for me to go out there and donate basically thousands of dollars without even seeing walls or anything built yet. And I'm guessing they won't be taking the money from you until later down the line, maybe just a deposit at this point. But it still would be tough. Wouldn't you be kind of annoyed? Like, okay, 2 years from now, maybe I'll get to see these seats?
Yeah, but I mean, that's just the way this goes. And I mean, like you say, this is a sales center, right? They're trying to sell tickets and get engagement. And so when they move in, they have a great customer base here. And I think that the tools that they put here, putting these virtual environments, that has to be much better to sell a suite, giving people the view of the ballpark. And I'm sure they're just walking in and saying, okay, let's do it. So they spent money here. There's also a really cool model of the A's ballpark on display with the roof there and everything. I mean, it's the roof opens, I suppose I should say, which it won't in real life, but there you go.
Oh, I saw that. I was like, oh man, did they add it? A retractable roof? That would be perfect when it gets nice and cool in the fall or early in the spring. I think that'd be really nice to have that feature to it, but that's not going to be the case. It looks like a great stadium. It's a cool stadium. I think they'll have some cool sight lines and everything. It's just whatever they build around it, I don't know will feature it as well as it could have been.
Yeah, but this is another step in the A's progress towards moving towards Las Vegas. It seems like they're hitting every metric. We're years into this now, and hopefully people get to check it out, get some excitement for the team. Also, a lot of excitement with the Sphere. Now, we talked October 20th, they announced that they had sold 1 million tickets to Oz, and now they announced 1.5 million just less than 2 months later.
Yeah, it's impressive, and that could be tickets in the future. Everything we've heard out of there has been great. Maybe I'll make a point to go see it when I'm there in a month or so. I definitely want to check it out. It's one, to be in the Sphere, but two, this looks like they did a really good job with it.
And anecdotally, Phish did a really good job at the Sphere last year. That was one of the more popular events happening, and they did that 4-day residency where they did different shows every day. And they announced in 2026 they are coming back for 9 shows, so 3 sets of 3 shows. I didn't see anywhere whether they're going to be each different. I would imagine that each is different because they are selling a 3-day pass for a whole weekend's worth of shows. And that's kind of unique for Phish fans. Phish does all these unique shows, and they will go to every show that they do. What's interesting is they're doing the Ticketmaster preview, or you have to request tickets. So you go in and you request tickets and you agree to pay for them, and then they do a lottery. And then so there's no way to, I don't know, to go in and request without actually being on the hook to buy them in the end. Prices are from $139.50 up to $299.50. But here's the, I don't know, shady thing. When you're going in to request tickets, you can only request, like, the cheapest is up to the $239. So you might get a cheaper one, but you're not guaranteed to get a cheaper one. So that kind of sucks.
Yeah, you don't get to pick where your seat is within that price range, or maybe you do once you win the lottery, but who knows? You still are on the hook there if you don't get one that you like, or if somebody else got in ahead of you and kind of took what you wanted or what you were looking for. So not the best setup, but I'm guessing Phish fans probably don't care. They just want to get in the door.
See, I happen to know a spot which has very good ticket prices where I sat for U2, and I would like to sit there again. And it's actually one of the cheaper spots, but I like the views and I feel like it's a good, I don't know, balance between all of it, but you can't pick that. They are going to have a general on sale after this is done next week. So I guess pay attention for that. Phish, I'm sure it'll sell out very quickly.
Yeah, and they're trying to block resellers from what I saw, and we'll see how that works out. Everybody tries to block resellers or tries to block people just buying to flip them, but it never seems to work out that way.
The one nice thing about 2025, when you go to their site and it says the prices, it's the price including all the fees and stuff like that. So when it's $139.50, that's the ticket price plus fees plus this. Nice to see that we're finally getting that. It only took, I don't know, decades and decades of them screwing us.
Yeah, the most annoying thing was when you'd see a $40 ticket and it ends up being $92 when it's all said and done.
So let's move on to the GVR. And we talked about their big renovations to their floor over the last couple of years. They're still doing the meeting spaces and their hotel rooms, which desperately needed renovations. And they have finished renovations in their 199 West Tower rooms. And they're showing the photos of this. We saw renderings of this before. I think we may have even seen a sample room photo, but this is a wider variety of all the different rooms. And I want to say, combined with what M did with their new tower, I'm really loving this new design language, adding color back in, some earth tones back in, and that marble in the bathroom is stunning.
Yeah, I agree. I think it looks really nice and it matches with everything we've seen kind of coming out of the strip. And you wouldn't know if you just dropped somebody in that room, you wouldn't know that it was an off strip property. I really like that patio room and then the strip view rooms, but that patio looks like something you need to get yourself into, Sean.
Yeah, I haven't stayed there in like 10 years. And even 10 years ago, I would say the rooms felt dated. I'll try to find an old photo to throw up here for you guys. It just was very like old school or mid 2000s Italian. I don't know. I just never really loved
Aria?
the rooms there. Yeah, kind of. I mean, we'll talk about Aria later, but it's kind of suffering from the same fate. But this is incredible. I love the property, everything they've done the last few years. And now the hotel will actually match. And this also brings the hotel up to the levels of, say, Durango. I think these rooms are very comparable.
Yeah, I think they're right on that level. And I know you love the property. And when we walked around it, it's a beautiful property. So I'm glad to see the rooms kind of match there and bring more people in the door.
Now, there is one last aspect of this. They said this in their press release, redesigned to evoke the ambiance of a sophisticated pied-à-terre, blending residential warmth with layered textures. Now, you just came back from France, so you should tell me what that means. I looked it up. I guess that is a French term that literally means foot on the ground and is used in English to describe a small residence kept for occasional use. So that's what they're describing their rooms as. Have you learned French? Are you fluent now after going to Paris?
No, but if they wanted to be French, they should have put more cigarette smoke in there, and then it would be perfect.
This episode is sponsored by Greg Schaff from Barrett Financial. Greg is a friend of the show, the official mortgage provider of MTM Vegas, and he's a Vegas local, friendly guy. Scan the QR code, easiest way to get in touch with him. Email, call him. He's there to help you out with all your mortgage questions, needs, purchase, refinance. Go do it. So on the last show, I talked about NoMad being rebranded to the Reserve at Park MGM. That was the big announcement. You weren't here, so I know you love NoMad. I figured I'd give you a chance to say what you think about this rebranding. They're not really changing much, it doesn't seem like, with the hotel or anything, some name changes. But basically, this is just a rebranding, which I said wasn't a bad thing.
No, I mean, who cares what the name is as long as the bones stay the same. So we both love the rooms. I love the library. I love the bar there. As long as that doesn't get messed with too much, I think it's great. The question is, do they take away that check-in desk? I don't think they'll do it immediately, but I could see them trying to cut costs and say, oh, let's move it all into the same check-in, which adds a little bit of value there and I think makes it a little more unique. And then does the service dip a bit because NoMad was its own brand? I'm sure they trained in a special way and everything like that. And we see it at other NoMad properties. Are we going to lose that special touch when it becomes the Reserve? We'll have to wait and see how that all plays out. But since it's MGM, I wouldn't have high hopes.
Well, MGM has been running it the whole time. So hopefully with whatever they learn from the NoMad people, hopefully they keep that in touch here with the Reserve. That name obviously used to say something that's elevated. And we both like this property. I said on the last show that it's one of the best values in Vegas when you consider the product, what you're paying for it, and what you're getting.
Yeah, I agree. I think the rooms are great, and you love the bathtub in the middle of the room, which I always thought was a little bit weird, but I like the design aesthetic, feels very New York City. I think they just knocked it out of the park there. I mean, the check-in's a little bit dark, but it adds a little ambiance there.
So moving over to Chinatown, there's a couple of really exciting developments going on there, starting with the original Chinatown Plaza. Before I do that, there is a cool website, ChinatownVegas.com. They're covering all the Chinatown Vegas news, so you should check them out. They're doing a great job on that. But Chinatown Plaza is the original sort of plaza in Chinatown. It has that big surface lot out front, and it has an indoor mall, which has offices and stuff. And now they are going to be redoing that into a food hall, Asian-inspired food hall, as if we don't have enough food there. But I'm not complaining because all the food, or most of the food in that area, is incredible.
Yeah, and I think they'll actually pull off the food hall, unlike Resorts World, where it didn't really kind of hit. I think that this seems like it'll be more traditional Asian style food hall, where it's just different vendors all over the place and tables and seating throughout it. So I'm excited to see what this looks like. The big question always with Chinatown is, what does the parking situation look like? I know this has a bigger lot there, but maybe we need to have a Chinatown parking structure built just like we saw in the Arts District, and everybody got excited for that. We need the same thing here.
I think so, because just across the street, another huge development, and this one I'm so excited about. I am a huge fan of Japan. I go there all the time, and Japanese culture coming in a big way. Chubby World is coming to Chinatown. This is going where the old Ted Weens Firestone is, right on the corner of Valley View and Spring Mountain, right in the heart of Chinatown, very close to the Strip, very close to Area 15 as well. And this is going to be like a 5-story Japanese Disney World or something. I don't know. 25,000 square feet, multi-floor Japanese themed food, retail, and entertainment plaza is what they call. The 4th floor is going to have a theater with cosplay shows, anime events, cultural performances. The 3rd floor will have a Tokyo style food court. Where do I sign up for that? 2nd floor, fresh market. So a Japanese market and an omakase counter. And then on the 1st floor, vending, anime machines. So you're going to have like the vending machines you have in Japan, stuff like that. And there's also, I think, a basement, they said, which is weird in Vegas, which will have a music hall with a 360-degree LED. This sounds like Japan. I mean, it sounds like some venues you would see, these multi-story arcades and event centers, Japanese food hall. What doesn't this have?
I mean, I was told that Vegas doesn't have any basements, Sean.
Well, maybe it's at the level, but we do have basements. It's just expensive to dig them.
Yeah, what do you think the club should be called?
Chubby Club. I don't know.
Chubby Chasers, man. You missed it. Come on.
Oh, okay. Come on. Now, the Chubby people, if you know the Chubby name from Chinatown, Chubby Cattle Barbecue, Chubby Cattle Hot Pot, Chubby Skewers, those are all in Chinatown. Those are all owned by the same people. So these are local Chinatown people.
It'll be great food and a lot to do. I'm excited. Just a question of, do we have enough parking, Sean?
Forget about the parking, Mark. Nobody cares about the parking. You know where they don't have a lot of parking? New York City, Mark. And we have covered the New York City casino stuff going on because every big company had a proposal for a New York City casino. Wynn's was, I think, the most beautiful, and Hudson Yards in Manhattan. Caesars had one in Times Square. Neither one of those went forward. In fact, there will be none in Manhattan, but the final 3 casino licenses have been basically approved. They have one more board to go through, but that seems like a rubber stamp. So that will be Resorts World out in Queens, and that is on the current Resorts World site where they're going to expand and do that. And then you also have Bally's out at Bronx, which is on a golf course, and the Bally's, how does Bally's getting in all these contracts to build casinos when they don't have any money? But then there is the Hard Rock over where Citi Field is. This is the old World's Fair site. This is a really cool area. And the renders of that, I don't think I had seen a ton of this project with all the park space and the Hard Rock Tower fitting in right next to the stadium. This is the winner, I think, of all those projects.
I'm just curious, like, how serious are they if they approve Bally's this far? I don't know how you could give them any leeway here. They can't afford what they do have. I don't see where they're going to come up with the money for this either. So I think that's a dead man walking right there. But yeah, I like the Hard Rock at Citi Field. That whole area is kind of desolate. There's not much going on there. Beautiful ballpark, but there's nothing to do before or after the game. Flushing downtown is a couple miles away. I think this would add a lot to that experience, plus the U.S. Open's right there. So I think it does create a lot. It kind of takes a place that has like dirty car places and all these abandoned looking buildings around it and turns it into something beautiful and something fun. I think it would draw a lot of people before or after games and then just have a reason to be in that area all year round. So I think it'd be a big win, and Flushing isn't too far. So people that live in there, you can go downtown, have some drinks, eat.
At what point do we have to talk about Hard Rock just being dominant in the casino industry at this point, with obviously this, but flagship stuff down in Florida, what they're building here, their Atlantic City resort, even the new stuff, the native gaming that they just built in California, crazy properties that they're building. But Resorts World, you shouldn't kind of skip over them. They already have the casino there, so this is just an expansion of that property. There's already a hotel. So that is, a casino you can go to now. And yeah, I think those are the 2 projects, Resorts World, Hard Rock. I'm sorry for crapping on Bally so much, but how are they going to build this?
Yeah, I think Resorts World should be an easy approval. They already have the land and everything. They're already there. It's just adding more to the same. I don't see why that would be a problem. The Hard Rock, kind of an area that could use some rebirth, some growth. It'll bring more people into wanting to live in that area. And I think it'll be a great match with what's going on there at Citi Field.
I'm sorry we lost it, but I will say the Caesars in Times Square, it would have been cool to have that there. I know why the locals wouldn't want that, but from a outsider perspective, cool stuff.
Do the locals even want to go to Times Square, though? What do they care?
No, they don't care, but keep it off Manhattan. That's what they said, and that's what they did. But back to Vegas, Plaza We talked a few shows ago about their non-smoking slots. When I was looking at their promotions, I noticed they had separate promotion for that area, the old Brian Christopher slots area, which means, people aren't going in there. Every time I've been in there, there's nobody there. And John Mahaffey's reporting that they're thinking about putting, or they will be putting in 3 table games to that area, to the closet. It's tiny in there. I guess they have about 80 machines. He says they're going to bring it down to 40 and then put the 3. It's still going to be so tight in there, but maybe non-smoking table games is the way to go.
Is it going to be like one of those stupid half craps tables? I don't know how you fit it, but I don't think it's a bad idea. There's no other non-smoking area for table players, so maybe that would draw people in. I think it's worth a try.
I said they should just turn it into a beer garden. For those who know, that space was a beer garden before they turned it into the non-smoking slots area. So it wasn't a very good beer garden. It was just basically some fake grass out on the street, but it was a beer garden. I don't know. It kind of shows you that for decades now, they've really struggled to put something there.
Which is crazy because it's right at the front. You think it'd be fairly popular or easy, especially with the carousel bar right there. I don't know what the issue is drawing people in.
As a reminder, we have our Patreon. $5 a month gets you access to our weekly after show, merch discounts too. Lots of fun behind the channel, great community of people. Patreon.com/MTM Vegas for all the information. And thanks to everybody in our Patreon community. So let's talk Aria. We kind of alluded to this earlier. A few years ago, 3 years ago now, I had my last day at Aria and the room was terrible. The hallways were beat to crap. And like everywhere I went, there were stains on the wall, there was dust, there was hairs. And Jacob just put out a video from his stay at Aria, and it's 3 years later, it's the same thing. And for people who wonder why I say I don't like the hotel at Aria for what it is now, and I'm very excited for renovations, this is why. I mean, look at his room. There was just a towel on the floor, mystery stains all over the walls. What did he say? There was hairs in the bathroom, hairs on the carpet, hair in the shower and tub, hair at the base of the toilet. The robes were nice though.
Yeah, but I don't think this is a remodeling issue. It's a cleaning issue. It's a management issue. It comes from the top down, and whoever's the GM there just doesn't care because this has been an ongoing problem. We've made jokes about our friend that stayed there and had poop on the side of the toilet. Like, this has been going on for 5 years, maybe more, maybe longer than that, at least since COVID. And it's shameful. It's not that hard to clean. It's not that expensive to clean. It just takes pride, and it takes somebody saying, hey, this is what we need to get done. And maybe they're short staffed and that's on purpose to save money or whatever. I don't know what the cause of this is, but the fact that they're doing this, you can put some more lipstick on this pig and make it a new room, but it doesn't mean that they're going to get all the hairs or clean it or not leave towels behind, not leave stains behind. That's a problem from the management team, and that needs to be fixed before they put any more money into updating it.
And Jacob's video is great. It's a full overview, his typical thing, why you should and why you should not. I love the fact that he blurred the towel at the beginning to make you think it's like a dirty tissue or something. And it's just
gross.
A towel. But I actually think that just even if it's a clean towel, it shows you the lack of care that the room attendant walked out of the room and left this like that. And, I've stayed at Bellagio a couple times since I stayed at Aria the last time. And I had problems in the past with Bellagio's rooms, but they've been very good. I've stayed at other MGM properties, New York since then, and the rooms were clean and fine. But there is another thing here with the wear and tear on the rooms, tons of it everywhere, as he points out. The hallways are beat to hell. They were years ago. And so when we talk on this show, is Aria a flagship property in Vegas? It is absolutely not. Bellagio is. Aria is not. I would say Cosmo is. I would even put MGM Grand now above Aria because of the new rooms. I have not stayed there in a little while, so I don't know how their housekeeping is. But Aria needs a lot of help. They are supposed to do the rooms next year. But as you say, they need a new culture and maybe spend a little bit more money on housekeepers. I do know somebody who is a room attendant at Vidara, and the amount that they're worked, the amount of rooms they have to do in a day is sort of insane.
Yeah, I think that's a big problem, and you're going to become apathetic and not want to do your best job because you have double what you used to have or whatever it is, and they need to figure that out, whatever that they need to do to make this a better process. I mean, we see people stay at Luxor, Excalibur, same company. They're not complaining about dirty rooms, and maybe some of that's they somewhat expect it because it's a cheaper price. But when I've stayed there, I haven't run into anything like this, and this is a common theme at Aria, so I don't think this is a one-off or people like to think Jacob's clickbaity. I don't think this is clickbaity at all. I think this is what we see, and that's a problem.
Yeah, I think you guys should watch the video. I stand by what he said. It's pretty much in line with everything I experienced during my last stay there, and hoping for something better. It's an interesting property, very cool, but it does need some help. And he paid $322 for a weeknight, which is insane for that room. The room itself is very old and dated too. It's not
So dark.
luxury. I mean, just look at that GVR room we just showed you and then look at this room. It's not even comparable when you're talking luxury in 2026, 2025.
Yeah, it looks exactly like the MGM Grand in Detroit, 2008. Purples, dark, cavernous. It's not a good look.
Let's close with this. Vegas Airport finally has its last credit card lounge, I guess. The Chase Lounge has opened in the Sea Gates at Harry Reid International Airport. Remember last year, Capital One opened their lounge and American Express has had their Centurion Lounge there for many years. In fact, it was the first domestic Centurion Lounge, the one in Vegas. The problem with this is there's 87 seats, Mark. It's a beautiful looking space, but it's broken up into many different compartments. And this is going to have a line all the time. 87 seats is tiny. It's just over 4,000 square feet. So it looks beautiful like a lot of the Chase lounges do. Nice option to have, especially if you're flying Southwest, but be prepared to wait.
Yeah, and they stuck it in the Southwest gates.
Well, I mean, all the other lounges are in the other gates, so I actually think that that's not a bad deal. But if you're not somebody who flies Southwest, then you're talking about a couple trams or a long walk to get there, let's say, from the D gates.
It just seems like a weird matchmaking there because I don't think that many Southwest flyers are going to have a Sapphire Reserve card to get in. You can get in with a priority pass at least once per year, so you can do it that way. And I would say like the Capital One we talked about, the lounge there is smaller. I don't know how many seats that has, but I would think it's somewhat in the same range. So maybe this will alleviate some of the pressure there too, and having enough lounges will hopefully kind of dilute what we have going on because there's lines everywhere. But I haven't been in a Sapphire Lounge yet. They do look like the most beautiful domestic lounges. Everything I've heard is that they're great. I really like the Capital One Lounge in Las Vegas. I think this might be a slight step up, but like you said, early on for sure, it's going to be hard to get into. I don't know if they have like a check-in kind of like the Capital One Lounge does, where you can do it in the app and do it ahead of time so that you can get on the wait list if there is one. But if that is the case, you'll want to do it here too. I'm looking forward to checking out when I get a chance though.
So here, just kind of comparing Capital One, you said it's small. It's 8,200 square feet compared to 4,590 for the Chase Lounge. So this is a different level of small, and it's 2 stories. So how much of that square footage is getting eaten up by the staircase? I don't know. It's a great product. They just didn't have the space. This is the real issue here. But if you are flying through Vegas, I am flying out tomorrow, but I don't think, because it's an early flight, I'll have time to get over there because I'll be in the other terminal. But I will hopefully get in there soon to give more of a real world review of what it looks like. But in the meantime, let us know what you guys think about anything we discussed today. Aria, has that been your experience there? Do you love it? Is the room design good? What about those new rooms at GVR? Chinatown growing, Chubby World, are you excited about that? Leave a comment. We do 2 shows a week, Tuesdays and Fridays, and we'll be back in a couple days with another show. Thanks so much for watching. Talk to you next time.
Chubby Chasers is too good for them not to use it, but let's hope.